Yo, what is up, my friends? It's your boy Steve from Straight Fire Picks, back with your best bets for NFL Sunday, week number 4 on Sunday, September 28, 2025. NFL player props, spreads, totals, parlays, predictions. We're going to have 5 picks in the video and 2 parlays. Let's lock in and get a sweep here today.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire, all my bets straight from. You're in the house that cat made now. Straight fire.
As always, my friends, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. On the road to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of your guys' support as always. Let's have a massive weekend in the NFL, guys. We need it. We need to obviously get this NFL season on track here in week number 4. So, doing a quick recap from Thursday night football. It was not our greatest stuff, guys. 1-2, minus 1.15 units. We did cash the spread there with the Seahawks, with them winning there straight up. But we missed our 2 player props there with Benson of the Cardinals over 14.5 rush attempts. He finished with 8. Obviously, that one hurt. Honestly, I was really annoyed watching this game. In the first half, Benson was running the ball just fine when he got it. And they refused to run the football and establish the run. They just kept dropping back and throwing the ball, and they kept throwing picks and drops. And I was just like, what are y'all doing? Like, you got Benson here going to work. Give him the rock. And I was really annoyed watching it because he was averaging 6 yards a carry. I'm like, ooh. But anyway. Then our receiver there, why am I forgetting his name off the top? Smith-Njigba, over 84.5 receiving yards. Didn't have any receiving yards in the first half. Had 79 in the second half. So that was kind of nasty. You know, he finally got it going and he was cooking, but he just couldn't quite get there. So definitely unfortunate. Then we messed up for the Sweep Parlay, obviously, or rather our little parlay that we put together there as well. So, yeah, it was not our best stuff, guys. 1-2, minus 1.15 units. But it is a new day today, guys. It's a new weekend, and we're going to get after it. And I'm really excited for these picks. I'm excited for this weekend here in the NFL. As far as our comment cappers, didn't have any comment cappers in the chat that hit either. We didn't have a ton of call-outs, so make sure you guys are dropping your favorite pick down below in the comment section. Put a star or an asterisk next to your pick, and we'll include your pick in our next video if it hits in the chat. So just keep that in mind. A lot of fun there to participate in that. So let's have a big day. Here are a big weekend of NFL, guys. All I can say is we need to get back on track. We're down about 6 units on the season. Obviously not the standard we like to set around here, and we need to obviously do better. So that's our focus here this weekend. One other thing, check out the pinned comment and description as well, guys, for any links you guys are looking for here around the channel in regards to membership, merchandise, social media links as well. Also, check out our NFL spreads and totals video. We cover every game for week number 4. We're already 2-0 so far in that video, technically, because we hit the under and the Seahawks, obviously, in that video. So we cover every game, spread, and total, so make sure you guys check that out. I have a quick link to that video here at the end of this video, so keep that in mind. And then check out our Sunday Night Football video. We'll have that coming to you live Saturday night at 8 p.m. That'll be live for you guys to check out as well. All right, without further ado, guys, let's get after it today. Let's get this sweep here in the NFL. Let's get right into our picks. At number 1, we are going with the Buffalo Bills, minus 14.5 spread here versus the New Orleans Saints. Minus 110 odds on ESPN Bet. So obviously this is one of the bigger spreads that you'll probably see for most of the season. This is one of the bigger spreads that in general that you'll see. And I'm going to take it here with the Bills. I think they are that much better than the Saints, where they are going to absolutely trounce the Saints. Especially given the situation. I think this is a very difficult situation for the Saints, and I'll explain that here in a minute. But looking by the numbers, the Bills are 3rd so far in margin this season at plus 10.3. The Saints are 31st at negative 14.3. So that's a lot of where you get the spread from. 2 teams heading obviously in 2 different directions, and the talent disparity is obviously great on both sides. Meaning the Bills have far more talent, obviously, than the Saints. Saints also have a rookie coach. So there's a lot of things going on, guys. And I think obviously the Bills are in a great spot here at home to cover the spread. Like I said, the talent disparity. The biggest thing I'm actually looking at with the Saints is the travel, right? They traveled East Coast to West Coast to Seattle, got absolutely trounced in Seattle by 31. Now they're traveling back east to play in Buffalo. So it's like, That's definitely doesn't bode well for them with back-to-back road games. That's a lot for any team to deal with. But particularly here when you have to prepare for a guy like Josh Allen, that makes it even worse. So it's like your success rate against preparing for a guy like Josh Allen, you have to be so perfect against this guy. And even then, he'll probably still beat you. But if you're not prepared for him, he'll make you look absolutely silly all day, every day, any way he could do it. So I think this is going to be a Bills trouncing all day long. The Bills are going to just do whatever they want to do on the Saints, and it's going to get ugly. Obviously, I think the Bills will take advantage of the Saints' poor defense, but also Rattler going into Buffalo trying to have success is going to be rough as well. So I think 14.5 is actually a generous number for us on the Bills. I thought maybe it should have been more here, given the situation and the particular spot. I think the Bills cover this easily. And what's interesting is the line movement does not indicate that. The line movement, this opened at 16.5, I believe. So this is actually down to 14.5 now, which is really interesting when you think about it. So, there's a lot of people coming in here on the Saints thinking the Saints could cover the spread, but I don't see that happening, guys. But obviously, you never know. But I just don't see it happen. Bills are first in total offense this season. Saints are 20th. There's not really much more I need to say about this. You guys know what we're dealing with here. So love it there for our number one pick, guys. We're going with the Buffalo Bills minus 14.5 spread versus the New Orleans Saints. We got minus 110 odds here on ESPN Bet. Okay, and at number 2, we are rocking the over 44.5 points in the Cleveland Browns-Detroit Lions game. This one's going to be plus 100 odds here on ESPN Bet. Really like the value here. So, couple stats here, guys, that are going to blow your mind on both sides here. Ford Field in Detroit is number 1 for overs since 2022, going 20-10 to the over during that span. The differential is also number 1 at plus 7.2 over that span. So you're like, okay, yeah, we know the points scored in Detroit, but what about the Browns defense, all that? Well, I'm sure the Browns really travel as well, right? It's a different story when they're playing in home games. Obviously, with you get Myles Garrett, that defensive line going at home, the home energy, so on and so forth. They can keep the scoring down. On the road, I don't see that happening. And also on the road, believe it or not, and this was honestly the craziest stat that I found, because I knew the Lions were pretty close to number 1 for over since 2022. But the Browns are number 1 on the road to overs since 2022, Cleveland Browns games, going 17-10 with a plus 5.2 differential. So that's very interesting. Obviously, we love taking that. I think this is a fantastic spot here for the over. I think particularly with Joe Flacco and this Browns offense, I actually think they're going to be able to find some holes in this Lions defense. I love my Lions, guys. I'm a Lions fan. We know Detroit's going to score. I'm not going to talk too much about that. You know what they got. Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jared Goff. That offensive line's playing better. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. I can go on and on. The offense is going to score regardless of who they're playing. I don't even care, especially at home. That's just going to be a thing. But I actually think the Browns will have a little bit of success here too, which is why I really love the over. The Lions are actually not great as far as giving up the big plays. I think there'll be some chunk plays, and Flacco's kind of known for that. He's got a nice down the field throw, right? He could definitely chuck it down the field a little bit. Lions are 22nd in yards allowed per play, so the Lions can give up some chunk plays. They relied a lot last week, even with Baltimore there. Their defense played great, and they still gave up 30 points. So, I mean, they played fantastic, too. I didn't have any complaints, but there were still points to be had. And I think the same's going to be in this one here as well. I think you'll see some points in this one. So, really love the over 44.5 points in this Browns-Lions game. We got plus 100 odds here on ESPN Bet. Okay, and at number 3, we got Daniel Jones, over 215.5 passing yards here for the Indianapolis Colts. We're going minus 115 odds here on Bet Rivers, risking a unit here. So obviously Jones over in 3 of 3 games this season with an average of 272 yards per game. Guys, we talked about this last week. I really felt like his over-under should have been, I was mentioning 240 last week. Now he ended up hitting 228, so he ended up going over our line. Didn't clear it by as much as I would have loved, but still cleared the line pretty easily. And that was in a game where they pulled away from the Titans and they didn't really need to throw it down the stretch. What do you expect in this game? They're playing the Rams. They're gonna have to throw the ball a lot to keep up with Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Over under set to 49.5. So the books are definitely expecting the points and yards to come. It's just a matter of how you think it's going to happen. This line is just simply too low on Danny Jones. We've seen how great he's been so far this season, and I'm going to rock that. I think, a lot of, I think it's becoming kind of clear a lot of his problems were more specific to the Giants and their protection of him and their schemes for him. Obviously, he's found something here with the Colts. He's played fantastic. This offense is absolutely cooking for the Colts. They have been cooking in the first 3 games of the season. I don't think it slows down. I really like what they have with obviously the running back there, Jonathan Taylor. I like the receivers. I love their tight end that they drafted, Tyler Warren. He's been an absolute stud to open the season. So I think Jones continues to have success versus Rams defense. I'm not saying they're horrible, but let's see what they did in the second half there versus the Eagles. They absolutely fell apart. And obviously A.J. Brown went off in the passing game for the Eagles last week in that second half. So I think Danny Jones can have a lot of success here still. This game's going to be at SoFi Stadium. Like I said, we're expecting the points totals at 49.5. And like I said, the line to me is just simply too low. This line should be at least 250 to me, for sure, on Danny Jones. And I think, you couple the fact that the total's high. This is also a negative game script, which normally bodes well for the passing game, meaning you're going to have to throw to keep up with what the Rams are doing. That's kind of the insinuation here, and I see it very much playing out that way again. So love it there for number 3 pick, guys. We're going Daniel Jones over 215.5 passing yards here for the Indianapolis Colts, minus 115 odds on Bet Rivers. Okay, and at number 4, we got Keenan Allen. Over 50.5 receiving yards here for the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going minus 109 odds on DraftKings. What's the first thing that I really love about Keenan Allen the best? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is he looks like the old Keenan Allen, right? He looks like the guy that was here a couple years ago with the Chargers, dominant, getting a lot of catches, big red zone target. Doesn't look like he's really lost anything. And I love seeing that. That's what I've seen the first few weeks out of him. We had to wonder to start the season, will this guy be the same? And he's very much been, he looks great so far to open the season. What's the second thing I really like? I love his target count. His target count is 9.3 targets per game. That's wild. When you think about it on a receiving line like this. 9.3 targets for a 50-yard receiving line? Are you kidding me? I could sign up all day on that regardless of the matchup, honestly. So he's already 3 of 3 this season, right? Logs is 68, 61, 65, averaging 9.3 targets per game. We obviously love to see that. But let's also talk about the matchup. The matchup also happens to be very good as well. Giants rank 31st in yards allowed to wide receivers. So obviously love that. And also, not only Keenan Allen looks like the old Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert also looks better, right? Justin Herbert might be playing some of the best quarterback play of the season so far to open the year. He looks absolutely fantastic. So he'll find the ways to get Keenan Allen the ball. I don't doubt that 1 minute. I think Keenan Allen will have a great game here again. Really like his line today. Love it there for number 4 pick. You got Keenan Allen over 50.5 receiving yards here for the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going minus 109 odds on DraftKings. Okay, then finally at number 5, we're going Kareem Hunt over 25.5 rushing yards here for the Kansas City Chiefs. We got minus 105 odds here on Fanatics. Risking a unit here. Like we talked about with David Montgomery last week, right? The physical running back versus the Baltimore Ravens. Is that going to be a thing this week? I think so. The Ravens' defensive line remains very banged up. Run stuff from Matabuke is once again out, along with another person up on the defensive line. So the defensive line is definitely in trouble in this one. And I think the Chiefs will be able to establish that run, which is going to give the Ravens a lot of trouble, I think, in this one potentially. They now rank 32nd versus the run after playing the Lions, which, isn't really too much of a surprise. Lions have 2 dynamos at running back. But particularly, we took Montgomery's over last week at 35.5. He went for over 100. And that bet was over in the first half pretty much. So do I think it's going to be quite that easy with Kareem Hunt? I'm not saying that, but I do think Kareem Hunt gets closer to 50 yards here. I think this is also potentially a solid lateral look. Obviously, the only thing with Kareem Hunt, kind of like Montgomery though, he splits carries, obviously, with Pacheco. So you have to just keep that in mind. You got to be a little bit patient with it. We had to be a little patient there with Montgomery. But once he started getting his carries, he got there pretty easily. Hunt is averaging 7.7 rush attempts per game. So I do like that. I think that's enough here to get this done. If he gets 8 carries, he has to average what? Less than 4 yards per carry to hit the over here. It's kind of like we mentioned with David Montgomery. It's literally the same type of thing. And I think the Ravens are gonna allow more than 4 yards per carry in this one for sure. We talked about how well the physical running back does versus the Ravens. It was the previous week with the guy from the Browns, Judkins, and then Montgomery obviously punished him last week. So I think once again, I think Hunt's gonna have a good game here. And he's set up well. So love it there for number 5 pick, guys. Going Kareem Hunt over 25.5 rushing yards here for the Kansas City Chiefs. Minus 105 odds here on Fanatics. Okay, then our for the Sweep Parlay, guys. You guys know how this works. We're risking a tenth of a unit. This is plus 26.78 odds on Fanatics with our 20% profit boost that they give us. Fanatics has a lot of cool things going. They have risk-free bets. Risk-free, so the next parlay that you guys will see is a risk-free bet for me. I'm still going to count it as a quarter unit. Just keep that in mind, though. Make sure you guys are taking advantage of all the free stuff they hand you, because they will hand you some good free stuff here on the weekend. But obviously, love the for the Sweep Parlay, guys. We can make almost 3 units on this one, so hope we can lock in and get those 5 picks. And then, of course, we have our anytime touchdown parlay, risking a quarter of a unit here. We're going to up the ante a little here. 3 guys to score a touchdown: Dalton Kincaid, Nico Collins, Jalen Hurts. Why do I like Dalton Kincaid? Well, he's got a touchdown in 2 or 3 games. Really like his looks so far in the red zone in this offense. I think he'll continue to get those looks. And also, the Saints defense is horrible pretty much versus everybody. They rank 17th versus the tight end position, but I think Kincaid can obviously do work. I think he'll be a great red zone target here for Josh Allen. Nico Collins, anytime touchdown scorer here. Really like his look. Also 2 out of 3. He's up against the Titans, who ranked 28th defense versus position as far as the wide receivers. So I think Nico Collins, again, should have a field day versus the Titans. And then Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown. He's got a touchdown in 6 straight games. 3 of his last 5 versus the Chiefs. Obviously, you guys have known they've played the Chiefs a good bit. A couple of the Super Bowls there. And he's had success there, obviously. And the Chiefs rank so far 21st defense versus position, allowing touchdowns to quarterbacks. So I think Hurts, once again, will find the end zone at some point here today. And we'll be able to lock that in. So that is it for anytime touchdown parlay. Plus 1,193 odds on Fanatics. That's also it for all of our picks, guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's have a massive day today in the NFL, or not, depending on what day you're watching this, but a massive weekend in the NFL. And let's make some money here. So as always, appreciate you guys. Check out all of our other videos that we got going on. Outside of that will do it for me. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.